Well, we had our first technical hiccup. I went live and then the broadcast suddenly ended. So, good morning from gorgeous, sunny Eldorado Hills, Cali at the Eldorado Hills Sports Club. I'm Craig Walker. I'm running a live session and hopefully going to do some explaining for you. If you see my earlier posts, you'll see some preview material of what a phasor looks like. EEG is a four-dimensional phasor and not a two-dimensional sinusoidal wave. And the time-dash frequency envelopes, or TFEs or targets in the matrix mirror, show up as two-dimensional moving rectangles. They're actually four-dimensional hypercubes. There's a link with a representation of what a hypercube looks like. So, without further ado, let's get this session started and I'll do some explaining. And you can hear the woo in the background of the magnificent instructor. So, preparing the session, and there we go. And I'm going to focus, this is the spectra over here, I'm going to focus today on the targets. Let's maximize that window if we can. There we go. So what you see is 20 overlapping time-dash frequency envelopes or targets, white target lines, orange-brown. They turn orange-brown when there's a potential triggering event. That has to do with AutoNav primarily, whether or not a pause or an interrupt is triggered. And we can explain that later. But I want to give you background on how the time-dash frequency envelopes were developed. Years ago, Valdine W. Brown was known as a trainer of trainers, using the equipment that was available at that time, and learning everything he could, and then going around and helping people learn how to use it, teaching them how to use it, helping them with setting up different screens, so on and so forth. Well, as a result of all that help that he was providing, he was able to access thousands of EEGs that were created across multiple systems. And as a result of that, he was able to analyze that using the mathematical tools that he created, and looked at sessions that were described as beneficial by the trainer, beneficial by the client, not beneficial as described by the trainer or the client, or where there was disagreement. And so as a result of that, he found that there were these sweet spots, and that allowed him to create the time-dash frequency envelopes that you're seeing right now in this video. And it's pretty amazing what he was able to accomplish with that. And then partnering with Sue, they refined the various iterations of NeurOptimal, starting out with NeuroCare Pro and then moving to version 2 of NeurOptimal. And now what you see is NeurOptimal NO3. So essentially what happens is, this is, again, we need to remember, this is training and not treatment. So you're not seeing any judgment on behalf of the software in terms of, oh, that's not good, we need to trigger events. No, it's just essentially what it's doing. And you're seeing some lag right now. I probably have a background process running. It's kind of slowing things down a little bit. What you all need to understand is that in NO3, resources are conserved for training and at the expense of the visual displays like this target display. So while the display may look sluggish, training is going perfectly fine. So if we go back to the previous live video, essentially what happens is in the electrical signal that's measured via the sensors and the Z-amp, and remember we use 5 sensors, 2 active sensors at the top of the head. I have a picture of that at what we call C3, C4, 2 reference sensors at the top of both earlobes, and then a ground. So remember, when you're measuring voltage, you have to have a flow, like a battery, a positive and a negative pole. Otherwise, you're not measuring anything. So the active sensors interact with the reference sensors, which are electrically neutral. So the active sensors are measuring the electrical voltage at the top of the scalp, and then there's a subtraction that occurs between what is happening at the active sensor and the reference sensor. Now, you also have in the background all kinds of line noise. You have electrical mains current. In the US, it's 60 hertz. In Europe and elsewhere, it's 50 hertz. And we have a notch filter that can be adjusted to deal with that. But we have that electrical mains current, we have Bluetooth, we have Wi-Fi, we have static electricity. So we've got stuff surrounding us all the time. And what that ground does, what they call common mode rejection, it gives that first pass in denoising. Neuroptimal, through its mathematical tools, can easily determine the periodic sinusoidal-like waves that happen with this electromagnetic EMF line noise and exclude it from training. So that's what that ground does, and that's the first passive denoising that happens at the sensors and the Z-amp. Now remember, the Z-amp, we're measuring microvolts, teeny tiny voltage, and so it amplifies that and takes it from analog and digitizes it, and then passes it off to the software for it to do its magic. So that's in a nutshell what's going on. Now, in the EEG, we have a situation called flutter, or emergent variability is the technical term. And flutter occurs, it precedes a change in phase state. And so Neuroptimal, through its mathematical tools, which speak the language of the brain and the CNS, the central nervous system, in terms of the electrical activity, it is able to detect that flutter, which is preceding, just before a change in phase state, like, going from wakefulness to I'm nodding off. And when it notices that, a triggering event can occur, and the triggering event is the creation of a pause in the audio stream. Now, it doesn't always, when you see these targets, these orange-brown targets firing off, it doesn't always trigger a pause or an interrupt because of our intelligent auto-nav feature, which essentially adjusts the session throughout the 30 minutes, micro moment to micro moment, in terms of degree of difficulty and so on and so forth, and determines whether or not a triggering event occurs. And it's pretty fascinating, really, to be honest with you. But AutoNav, when it offers a pause or an interrupt through a trigger event, allows the brain to notice what it's doing in the moment, the orienting response. And again, this is happening before the event actually occurs, preceding the change in phase state. So that gives the interrupt to the brain about what it's just about to do and allows it to decide whether to continue or not. For example, let's take the going from wakefulness to sleep. If I'm lying in bed and a triggering event occurs, well, the brain's going to say, hey, it's time to go to bed. Carry on with that change in state. But if I'm in the car and driving, that's a different story. And the brain will recognize that and essentially make the decision, hey, we're not going to sleep right now. The brain's amazing. It's the most amazing nonlinear dynamical system in the universe. And Neuroptimal uses the same mathematical tools of nonlinear dynamics. That's joint time-frequency analysis. And the dash is important because time and frequency are important to combine together. And it also uses nonlinear dynamical systems control processes, mathematics, which, JTFA allows you to look at EEG as it actually is, a four-dimensional phasor, and in novel ways. And nonlinear dynamical systems control process mathematics allows for that ability to see the emergent variability or flutter. And so that allowed for AutoNav to be created as well. Pretty fascinating stuff. Very complex. I get it. And what's so fascinating is here behind the scenes, we have all this incredible complexity. And, I can't math well. So, the secret sauce is always safe. I wouldn't know it if it hit me in the face. But we have all this complexity behind the scenes, and it's so simple to use. You just watched me get a session started, and here I am sitting and talking to you. And Neuroptimal, remember, is not task-oriented. I don't have to do anything other than I could just sit and enjoy my session or fall asleep because the process is completely unconscious, and and the audio and interrupts are available to our unconscious auditory processing. So again, I can go to sleep. Hopefully I won't go to sleep during this live video. And again, I continue to be fascinated by it. Here I am running a session, Facebook Live, trying to do some splaining. Maybe I'm making some sense, maybe I'm not. Nobody's here to watch, though, to be honest with you, so I don't know. But, maybe you'll see it in the replay after we're done here. And oh boy, that was quite a bit of movement there. You can ask your questions or comments afterwards. So now I'm just going to sit tight and turn the camera on me and let you watch me close my eyes and just relax. Now you can't hear the audio of this session, and I'll post here as well. I will post a link to a YouTube video that has the audio that includes the interrupts. And don't worry, folks, you can't catch my brain cooties by listening into my session, because the brain knows what information is relevant to it, IT, capital IT, or not. And so what I'm hearing that you can't hear is relevant to my brain in this moment. What you'll be able to hear, and I can hear in the video I'll provide a link to, is not relevant to you, to me, because it's a previous session. So, anywho, I'm having problems with connectivity, so we may have to end this session early. And isn't that always the case? Always some technical difficulty. Sorry for my big mug in your face. I used to be prettier than this. I feel like I've turned into a combination of Yoda and Gollum. Yallum or Goda. But I digress. This is really good. We got about 19 minutes left, and if we don't have any problems with connectivity, we'll just let it run. And if we do, no big deal. I'll just finish my session by myself. You know, it's all good. Hopefully somebody will pop in and ask a question, whatnot. And I wonder if Facebook's algorithm is throttling me. Because all I get is crickets in reply. Need to post my free shrugs meme. But anywho, I'll stop talking. There's some noise going on in the background. Always wonderful. And that's the beauty of this process, though. You know, think about it. I'm in a busy area. There's all kinds of things going on. I got my headphones on. I can hear the audio. I can hear the interrupts unconsciously as well as consciously. And the training is fantastic. So I know I think I lied to y'all. I said I would only go live if you wanted me to. And that meant somebody was going to like or comment on my earlier posts. And I had David, forgive me for mispronouncing your last name, DeVos. Anyway, he's the one person who liked it. And he's apparently not here yet. So no harm, no foul, right? Well, I'm going to try to do a little leg exercises here, stretch my sciatic nerve and muscles and so on and so forth. Well, you know what? Stop looking at me. Let's look at my session. What you see is the matrix mirror with the spectra separated from the targets, the spectra on the left. Remember, we don't look at the matrix mirror in terms of, oh my God, what's going on? In terms of session efficacy, or, oh my goodness gracious, what's going on? And down at the bottom there, you know, around the 0 area, why is that so wide? Remember, that's where the EMF lies in terms of Bluetooth and Wi-Fi and static electricity and so on and so forth. And we have the targets display on the right. And we have the NO media player. Get in a little closer on that. That controls the session. I could pause it if I have to go to the little boys' room. I could change the music. I could move through a track, if I wanted to. I could shuffle a track, or I could stop the session early. So, there's that. I wonder what's going on with the bandwidth issue today.
Because you're probably crunching. You know, if you're able to ride the American Trail, that's what would kill me on my shoulders. Because you're hunched up.
I'm overhearing conversations, eavesdropping. I love the American River Bike Trail. It's beautiful. I haven't been there in a while, though. Need to get back to that. Oh, a little stretching. Sorry, I'm moving a little bit. I'm all alone. Nobody likes me. Everybody hates me. I think I'll eat some worms.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Sorry, I thought, okay, I heard that.
Oh,
Yes, okay, so can I say,
a little bit of back and leg pain as I'm sitting. And that's what happens with the sciatica and back and leg pain. I have a hard time finding a comfortable position to sleep, to sit, to stand sometimes. But today I woke up and it wasn't too bad. A little worse as I'm sitting here. Let's focus on the target display again, because I was seeing some good movement. And again, we're not making judgments. Let's not make judgments. Good movement, bad movement. It's just movement. It's what happens. Remember, our brain's keeping us alive. It's about survival, not conscious survival. And, it's scanning the environment constantly, internal and external, and making judgments or decisions on how to respond to that relevant information. It ignores irrelevant information, but it responds to that relevant information or not in the context of minimizing discomfort to it, capital IT. I'm thinking of Wrinkle in Time when I say that. It, the powerful, all-powerful, almighty it, except for our it is benevolent. Right? Glorious. And remember, those are four-dimensional hypercubes. And the EEG is a four-dimensional phasor. And again, I've got links to that in the previous post. Do your homework. There'll be a test quiz on this after the live session's over. Not. See if I can bring up the Media player. Let's move that out of the way. Okay, as you can see, a little over 12 minutes left. Pretty amazing software, huh? If I may say so myself, I had absolutely nothing to do with the creation of it. I'm just not that smart, folks. Remember, I don't math well. And I used to get C's in handwriting back in the day when they had handwriting in school. C's. Goodness gracious. Just not that coordinated. My fine motor skills. And then remember, folks, Neuroptimal's not a panacea. When I first started this, I thought I was going to end up, looking like Brad Pitt with the intelligence of Einstein and the athletic abilities of, Mikhail Baryshnikov just came to mind. And no, that's not the case. But, however, I am so much more resilient and flexible these days, and I'm able to move and compartmentalize and move through intensely difficult situations. I'm much less reactive to intensely charged situations. And I can go, open up my steamer trunk with a lot of compartments in it and stick something that's bothering me in that compartment, move on to something else. I need to work. I need to eat. So on and so forth. So, that's what Neuroptimal's done for me in a nutshell. And I train quite frequently. And again, there's individual differences, situations, and responses. Okay? We're all different. But I can tell you quite honestly, I cannot overtrain. I love training. I'll train multiple times a day. Sometimes I won't train for, a couple of weeks or a month even. But I can train, baby. I can train. And I love it. Now, other people, no, that's too much. You have to go with your gut instinct here. This is client-directed. This is a client-directed process. Okay? I'm thinking of Jonathan Harris when I say okay, because that's the way he says it. Jonathan got me hooked on Neuroptimal. He's the one that introduced me to it. He's here in the Sacramento area. Amazing guy. He won't be on this Facebook. He does not do Facebook. He won't be watching this. But I would love to say hello. Hello, Jonathan. Amazing guy. Sweetheart of a man. Brilliant. Engineering type. Incredibly compassionate. And very much in alignment with the client directive. You want to try it? Okay. Not interested? Okay. I'm not making fun of you, John. Love you. Again, we had a little hitch and a giddy up, bandwidth-wise. But I just got pinged on a WhatsApp, so it might be an app on my phone getting in the way. All right, we got about 8 minutes left. And my derriere, my rear end is hurting. So I have to move a little bit. Another hitch and a giddy up. Bandwidth be damned. I wish you could hear the music, but you will. I'll give you a link later. Oh, sorry about that. Let's turn the phone and see what happens. Oh, you can't turn your phone while recording. Well, you live and learn, right? You can teach an old dog new tricks. So maybe in the next Facebook Live, and hopefully if I have someone attending, I'll go over a little bit of AutoNav without giving out any secret sauce, by the way, because I don't know it. I can't math well. I wouldn't know it if it hit me in the face. It's safe. Oh, boy. Sorry, didn't mean to. So the extrinsic constraint to training at this moment is I'm having some pain in the lower area there. Right now it's about an 8 out of 10. But that's because I'm sitting, and the chair is not the most comfortable chair to sit in. Trying to think if there's anything else I can say here that's hopefully of meaning. With the pain and whatnot, I'm drawing a little bit of a blank, so bear with me. I started training, found Jonathan Harris on February, actually in January. February 2016. Went to see him with my daughter to check out what he had to offer. And he was saying, I'd like for you to try Neuroptimal, offer a demo. My daughter was like, no, thank you. And I'm like, yes, thank you. And I had the demo. And oh my God, I heard the beautiful music. I didn't know it was, this was version 2, by the way. I didn't know it was Jeff Bova who created the music, all the music for Neuroptimal. I didn't know Jeff Bova was a Grammy Award-winning composer, producer, songwriter, so on and so forth. And it's just gorgeous. And then the interrupts, and Jonathan explained it well enough for me. I signed my client, my informed client consent form. I knew what, essentially what I was doing. And I heard the interrupts. I don't know if I'm getting tapped here. Sorry. I heard the interrupts. I immediately got it. And I went home, got on the computer, looked up NeurOptimal, and Impulse bought my first system. And it's been a magical ride ever since. An absolutely magical ride. So, and I started my journey back then. I got on the forum. I started to ask questions. I found every available webinar I could. I followed Valdine Brown around, and Susan Brown, and Samantha, and Alan Balkers, and Lise DeLong, Mark DeLong, everybody. I followed them all around, and all my cohorts and colleagues, and just tried to soak up every amount of information I possibly could in the hopes of being able to understand it. And quite honestly, folks, I didn't understand it at the beginning. I was like, oh, what does that mean? And oh, what, goodness gracious, what's Val talking about? So on and so forth. And I trained while I was trying to learn. And eventually I was able to come to this place. What? Only took me, 10 years? 10 years of my life to get to this place where you can ask me anything and I should be able to give you an answer. Now, there are no dumb questions, so ask away. I can tell you, I might give you a dumb answer. But it's just been an amazing journey, and I love to share it. I love to hopefully demystify it. My mother trained, and the results of her training were magnificent. And I had another hitch in the giddy up there in the broadcast, but she became her natural sweet self, and we used to do videos, and she just wanted everybody to witness her personal transformation and do it. She used to say, try it, do it, you can do it. Don't be afraid. So, may she rest in peace. Mom, I'm carrying on what you told me to do. Let everybody know about another hitch in the giddy up, this magnificent tech, and spread the word. I have a little over a minute left, and for those of you that will come in and see this afterwards, many blessings. Always. This is your decision. This is client directed. Whether you decide to give NeurOptimal a try or not, and at whatever frequency, if you do, or you try something completely different that helps you, that's all I want for you, is the very best for you and for your loved ones. T-minus 30 seconds and counting. We've already lifted off, though, by the way. A nice soft landing. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and we're done. All right, gang. That is all. Many blessings. Cheers.